I'm Marion Harris.
And I am Fob Leon Harris.
We have been here in the Austin, Central Texas area for about 2 years now. I'm an oral surgeon in the area. We moved here to Austin from Kansas City. The three things that we always look for churches is they got to say hello, they have to have a good speaker, then they have to have a great worship.
I ran into the Instagram page of the church and saw the worship and pictures, and it just looked like the most amazing, most inviting place. And I said, I want to go there. It was COVID, so it was a very weird time. We mostly saw Keith online. We were able to come a couple times, and then, God willing, we run into him at an elementary school. Had no idea who we were, but then reached out and said, how do you feel about a life group? And amazingly enough, it's something he'd been praying for.
Like, I thought about doing a life group, but literally he sent a message asking us to be in a life group. And to me, that had to have been a God thing.
It was. It really was.
So we had like no expectations as far as like what to expect. So we just literally were going in blind, hoping for the best.
As soon as I walked in, it was like the most welcoming place. Like, I was blown away that someone was willing to open their home to all of these grown-ups, feed them, and then also just listen and teach them about God, talk about God, pray together, pray for each other. Our kids got dropped off at this house. Another couple that just opened their home to 10 children who just every Wednesday went there and just had the best time. It was never hard to go because of the first day.
My experience was a little different.
This is true.
I'm a little bit more like reserved just in nature. I try to sit back and kind of watch. My wife, obviously, she's a little bit more outgoing than I am. When I joined the small group, I was nervous at first. A bunch of strangers, never met them before. The main thing that they kind of talked about is even though I'm pretty reserved and I don't really like to share much, they said you got to be open. And so that's one thing I never really have tried is just kind of opening up and talking to people more or less about things that you typically wouldn't talk about. You know, as the man, we go through problems too, and it's good to be able to talk about some of your problems and struggles with other men to kind of get a feel for other ways to approach it, different ways to maybe come to Jesus or pray to God about it.
It was like so fulfilling for me to leave there and be like, I'm not alone. They did that. And like Marion just heard all of these wives say the same thing that I'm feeling. And so it was just always something that I knew leaving there helped me, but also helped him. Like every time we left, like we both left with something more.
When we've been in a tough spot, doctor's appointments or things like that, we don't have anybody here. And so we've been able to look to people in our small group. Couple of people that have come in, they're always there, they're available. I mean, super helpful.
I miss my family at home, but I'm like, I'm good. Like we have this huge group of people that just pray for you and care for you and are there for you and celebrate with you and help you when you're down and are constantly checking on you. And it's like having that is, I don't know how anyone can go without that. I think it just makes life so much easier.
But it's just really refreshing where, you know, you have a long day at work, you go through struggles, but you can talk about those things in your life group.
I'm not in a room full of strangers anymore. I actually know people, and I'm not like, please be my friend. It's like, hey, these are my friends.
I've basically grown up in church my whole life, and I was the type of person, I come in Sunday morning, listen to the message, and then I quickly like take off. Keith was always talking about like, hey, if you want to pray for people, pray now. If you want to be part of the church, you need to serve. If you're going to be here and be in community, you need to be in life group. And so these are all things that honestly I've never tried before. It was a personal challenge for me, like to see if I could get involved with the church, feel that community feeling. I know personally I've grown. My wife says I've grown, so it's got to be true. But I know I was just looking for something. I couldn't tell what it was, but I was looking for something, and I guess it was community.
If people are just questioning it, is it gonna work? Is it not gonna work? We have 3 little children who are wild. They're all boys. And I literally prayed, God, if it's meant to be, like it needs to just be easy. Like it needs to just work. The way it worked is beyond me. It was just so effortless. You will keep going. You will get into your groove. You will make it work. You will make it happen. And you will leave there so full and re-energized and just able to make it to the rest of the whatever is coming at you. Because I felt like if we didn't have that, I wouldn't have been able to just keep going. If you're needing that push, if you're needing that energy, if you're needing that love, you think you might not even need it. I didn't know I needed it, and I needed it.
And if you kind of feel like you're on the fence, what I would say is, it's probably the Holy Spirit kind of talking to you. It's never going to be perfect. It's going to be difficult to show up to life groups sometimes, but I promise you, when you get there, you're going to be glad you did, because I say it every week. You learn something new that you would never have the opportunity to do. It's definitely worth it, and if you make the time, trust me, you'll benefit.